George Carlin once said, you know, if you didn't know what sleep was and had only heard about it in a movie, you would think it was weird. You have these people and they're fine during the day, and then at the end of the day, when it gets dark out, they lie down on these special platforms and become unconscious, totally vulnerable to their worst enemies. Deep in their minds, they have these adventures that are impossible in real life. But if one of these epic mind adventures becomes too real, they wake up and scream. And then they're glad that they're not unconscious anymore. And then they drink a lot of coffee. Now, that's a funny story. But in real life, sleep is serious business. And science, from what I've researched, I'm going to tell you about the science of sleep and how to get a good night's sleep. Because what good does it do if you don't know how to get to sleep? And science tells us that mice deprived of sleep, they die after 7 days without sleep. And so we know that as people, it's probably important for us to sleep too. And so the main two reasons that science, and this is a recent article that I was reading, the two reasons they've come up with that are most important is our brain cells actually shrink by 60% during sleep. And because that allows a lot of room for the spinal fluid, what they call cerebral spinal fluid, to wash over those brain cells. And it carries out all of the waste products that have accumulated during the day. And those waste products, yeah, you're being brainwashed at night, right? And so, but those waste products are what causes the plaque to build up. You get Alzheimer's and different kinds of diseases in your brain later on. So we know that it's really important to sleep. And then the second major reason is that all of the stuff that you go through during the day, your brain is memorizing it. It's going in, and then at night it's filing it. It's putting it in those certain places. It's linking it with other memories. And it's sort of like defragging your computer. When you get on your computer, you know that if you don't defrag it often enough, what happens? It runs slower. Same with our mind. If we don't defrag our mind in sleep, then it's going to run slower, and we're going to drag through the day, and we're not going to be as alert. And I know for myself personally, which is one of the reasons why I'm giving this speech, is I used to have hard times sleeping. And if I didn't get a good night's sleep, I'm not one of these guys who can burn the candle at both ends, even when I was younger. And so I had to get a good night's sleep. And if I don't get my 7 or 8 hours, I'm just dragging, and I feel more depressed, and I feel more anxious, and it's just hard. It's like walking in mud. So that's the science behind it, the two major reasons why we sleep. But now, most importantly, how do we sleep? For me, I've gone through all these ideas, have a good mattress, do this, that, and the other, get a box fan, you turn it on, you get white noise in the background. Well, this is the one I'm going to talk about is the science that they talk about, what works. And for me personally, this is my technique for sleeping, which everybody knows about this. You get a sleep mask. And you put that on, and that blocks out any sun, right? And here in summertime, the sun doesn't go down until 9 o'clock at night. So are you going to wait 3 hours when you're in bed, waiting for the sun to go down? No. You put on a sleep mask. When the body senses that there's no light coming in, then it starts to produce the melatonin, which is the hormone that helps us sleep. So that's the first thing you do. Another thing that I do, I found a supplement. It's called L-theanine. And it's really cool what I've read about this supplement. It's found in green tea. It relaxes the mind. It puts you in this Zen kind of state where you're alert, but you're relaxed. You're rushing through the day, and you come home, you're trying to get to sleep. All this stuff's running through your mind. Oh, geez, I should have said that, or I should have done this. L-theanine just slows it down, kind of like, if you have the faucet on full blast at home, and it's shooting out, and you can't drink out of that hose until you turn it down a little bit. So we've got to turn down our minds a little bit, get it just right for sleep. So this increases alpha waves. It actually goes right to the brain. It's one of the few supplements that does that. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. And then finally, this is something that I found out just a couple of years ago, is a sleep app. It's called Sleep Genius, and it's based on research that was funded by NASA. And they found something called the vestibular system acts on noises and it acts on motion. So the vestibular system in our brains, when you're a child, when you're a little baby and your mom is like rocking you to sleep, that's motion, right? Now, if she starts shaking you, that's not going to put you to sleep. But if you get the right kind of motion, real soft and rocking, the baby falls to sleep. That's science. And there's also noises that affect the vestibular system the same way. So I'm going to demonstrate this. This is actually, it's called Sleep Genius. There's several apps out there. This is the one that I use. It's called Sleep Genius. And I'll put this on and demonstrate how it works. Let me push the app. And I got my speaker so you can hear it nice and loud, because it's kind of soft just listening to it. I always put on earbuds so it's easier to hear. So I put on my sleep mask, you know. But you see, I'm getting tired. I'm going to sleep.
Hey, let's tiptoe out.
Fellow Toastmasters.
Where'd the alarm come from?
What's that?
Where'd the alarm come from?
Well, that's not part of the sleep app.
Thank you.